And I am doing something very special this evening. I am going to do a personal request on what happened to Terrilynn Monette back in 2013. 26-year-old Terrilynn left the lounge and was on her way, we don't know where, and she disappeared. Disappeared. About 3 years later, her car was discovered at the bottom of, it's like a mini lake. Maybe it's called a creek. I don't know what it's called, but it's a body of water, very small, small enough to create havoc during a rainstorm or flash flood. So I've been doing research on it, and they have, I think CBS News had a picture of where they were hoisting the vehicle out of the water, and I immediately got the water pulled her in. Flash flood, okay? It was also said that they found several people drowned like that in several other, they don't call them lakes. I don't know what they call them, but they're like very many, many lakes. And like I said, when those things overflow or there's some type of they flooded. They flooded. That water came out of that body of water and it went right on the road and went over the car and then pulled it right on back in, almost like a tide. This area seems to be, for a better word, peppered with those little pockets of pools of water. But I don't think it's not just contained. The water is flowing. I guess it's a creek because it has water behind it flowing from above, uh, flowing right on through. So the water moves. But on this particular night, it came right on up. That's a flash flood. We have those here. You can be walking into a store in certain areas. I'm on the DMV. I'm on the coast, so in certain areas, on a bright sunny day, you can walk in a store at 12 o'clock, pick up something that you want, and walk out at 12:03. And next thing you know, there is a gushing water that will whoosh sweep you and your car away. And I know that is not a happy feeling, my darling, because that has happened to me twice here. Walk out the door or walk, especially after a heavy, heavy rain, when you are, and I'm in the city. I was in the city both times, in the heart of the city when it happened to me. And I can't swim, so I was terrified. Came down the corner, was heading for the bus. This was years and years ago. Heading for the bus stop, get to the bus stop, all of a sudden I hear all this rushing water. And I'm like, where's the water? Where's the water coming from? I looked up. That water had to be a good 100 feet high. And I just, all I could do was run and pray. And that's exactly what I did. I left the bus stop. I ran and prayed over to the next main street. Because if I could pick up enough speed and get to the main street, that water would have to go through, it would have to flood over a bridge, it would have cars it has to hit, and it's got to travel a long way to get to me. So I ran, and at that time I was not in shape. I was well over 200 pounds. And I ran, and I ran. And as I was running, I just happened to look over the bridge. The businesses beneath the bridge, we had an overhead over there. The businesses, the whole parking lot was just covered with water. Covered with water. And where did it come from? It came from a little creek uh, out back. But in that little, beyond that little creek, there's a great lake. Not like the ones up there in Michigan, no. In Illinois, no, not that great. But it's a big old lake. It is, I forgot, yeah. Uh, and that thing overflowed for whatever reason. And when that overflowed, it pushed the more water down into the teeny weeny creek. Now, that's where the water came that overtook the businesses. I still can't figure out where it came off of that up top that hill. I have no idea. No idea. And that water ran for about 2 blocks, and so did I. I was heading for literally, I had to run down the street, around the corner to get to the foot of the hill so I could run up the hill. And I did. Exactly that. So, those things can happen. Freak accidents can happen. But it was also reported that other people have been found drowned and dead in their vehicles the same way, which tells me that might be a planning problem the city of New Orleans has to deal with. Like, why don't you put up some guardrails around these little lakes so the cars just don't get pulled in? So, what happened to Terrilynn Monette? Okay, I've shuffled a bit. Even these cards want to be a little difficult here. I'm going to talk about Terrilynn now. I have called in her spirit. She is such a sweet pea, and yet she was a teacher, and she is still teaching on the other side. And she's just happy. What happened to Terry then? This is it? One more. Okay. Okay. I'm using the urban deck. Which way? Okay. And it's funny, I hadn't thought about this, but this looks like a planning deck too. See those little, that's what a map looks like, a planner's map sometimes. Overall energy is the mage, the magician, trying to get things done. She came into New Orleans to get some things done. It was a teach program. Okay, Queen of Cups is a therapist. She'd like to listen to people and their problems to help them out, especially the children, the older children. And didn't I tell you she was just so happy? She's so very happy. Now we have two. We have 2 of swords. So this is a blockage, not knowing which way to go. Here's the car. Here's the car. And this is what I suspected. She was in the car and drove up, hit that flash flood area. Yeah, okay, here the works. I don't know if it was, well, this, 3 of works. The scene when they found her car looked like a construction site. Not that they were building anything, it's just that they had, heavy machinery to pull the car up out of the water. Yeah. And she was at the top of her game as the Empress. Valor, successful, had positioned herself like that. She wanted to achieve more. And you tell me what this looks like. Tell me what that looks like. See that water? Mm-hmm. She's at peace. Okay. This is her at the party or the club, the lounge. And she was wondering whether she should go or not because she had to go to work in the morning. Mm-hmm. And here's 8, interference. This is, like I said, 8 of swords. Locked in, blocked in, couldn't get away. That to me feels like very much, like a flash flood that just popped up out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And you really can't get away from it. Yeah. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. The wheel is turning. Everything is about to change. And even though it didn't pull my car in, it couldn't because I was on the right side of a meridian. All it did was like push me over into something concrete and grassy. But the water still went over the head top of the car and scared me to death. And here's the card of the teach. This is Queen of Wands. She was the type of person that when she wanted to reach her goal, it took her some time, a little bit of procrastination, but Terry got things done. That was a mental thing for her. She just had to discipline herself to get things done. Let's say it like that. Let's say it like that. And here's the new beginning. Didn't want to start all over. And the Prince of Disc. This is when everything kind of stopped. This is also the reason she was elevating herself in her profession, but she also went to teach NOLA to help the kids. That she did do. So basically, I mean, there's nothing else I can say here other than um, it was a flash flood. And I do strongly feel things may have been different if there were at least some type of guardrail along that lake or I don't know what you call it, that body of water. Because when I saw it, the first thing it said to me was flash flood. This is the thing. This is what popped up in my mind when I saw it. There's no guardrails. All you have, basically, where's the car? Oh, you see the car? You see him on top of the car? Let's say this is the water, this is the grass, this is the pavement. You see how close that water is to the pavement? You wouldn't even get a chance to get on top of the car in a flash flood. So I hope that answered some questions for who requested that reading. But when I talk with Terry direct, well, I do the medium thing sometimes. I said, Terry, what happened? Terrilynn, what happened? I drowned. I said, was it an accident? She said, no, mistake. Terry, I was about to ask, what did you mean when you said, no, it was not an accident, but it was a mistake? Oh, darling, I took the wrong road. I took the wrong road. How do you feel like that, stupid? How do you feel now about where you are? I'm happy. I'm elated. I'm happy. Do you understand that was just your exit from this life, from this 3D life? Yes, and I can cope better with that now. Is there anything you would like to say to the person who requested this reading? Don't worry about me. I'm fine. And I love your shirt. Anything else, Terry? Oh, that's it. Okay. She loves your shirt. All right? Okay, my loves. This was a special request. What happened to Terrilynn Monette? This is Grandma.